It's 1442 local time, October 1st, 2025. Near Scarborough Shoal, the USS Dewey, an American destroyer on routine patrol, suddenly picks up multiple fast tracks racing in from the northwest. The bridge falls silent for a beat, then alarms shatter the calm. "Incoming!" someone yells. Sailors sprint to battle stations, hatches slam, and the ship tilts into evasive maneuvers. Outside, the sea flashes white as contrails streak low across the horizon. Chinese YJ-12 anti-ship missiles already inbound. Every radar screen glows red. Orders echo through steel corridors. Activate Aegis-launched decoys. The destroyer's engines roar, cutting hard to starboard as flares burst from the deck. Waves explode against the bow. Through the haze, crew members glimpse the missile trails closing fast, bright, burning lines, drawing death toward them. There's no time left. In the next 10 seconds, Dewey's fate will be written on the sea. In the South China Sea, every ship's wake draws invisible lines of power. Cargo vessels, fishing boats, and warships all share the same crowded blue, each move watched by radar, drones, and satellites. The USS Dewey isn't just here by chance. It's escorting a small group of Philippine vessels asserting their right to fish inside their own EEZ waters, China claims as its own. For the crew, this mission is routine on paper, but in reality, it's a walk through a minefield. Chinese frigates shadow them, Coast Guard cutters drift uncomfortably close, and now missiles. The message is clear: back off. But retreat isn't an option. Washington needs to show the flag, Manila needs to see it, and Beijing wants the opposite. Inside the Combat Information Center, sailors' eyes dart between glowing screens. The Aegis radar hums like a living thing. Track number 3, closing fast. One says, Type 54 amperes signature confirmed. It's not a drill anymore. The tension isn't just political, it's personal. Every sailor here knows the headlines that could follow. U.S. destroyer lost in South China Sea. Above them, a Chinese H-6 Kelvin's bomber circles somewhere beyond the radar horizon. A silent reminder that this fight could escalate in seconds. Each side claims defense, yet both prepare for escalation. The men aboard Dewey know one wrong radar lock, one mistimed countermeasure, could trigger something no one can stop. The hum of the ship's systems mixes with the pounding hearts of its crew. Everyone senses the world watching. 2 powers, 1 reef, and no space to back down. Which side do you think should hold their ground? Press 1 for the US crew or 9 for the Chinese forces. 1447 local. The first warning tone blares again, steady, urgent. 3 YJ-12 now confirmed, skimming barely above the water at Mach 3. On Dewey's deck, the crew braces. The captain's voice cuts through the noise. Engage! Engage! The ship's Aegis system comes alive. The first SM-2 missile arcs into the air, its flames slicing the gray clouds. 10 seconds later, another follows. Each launch shakes the deck. Radar officers call out impact times in clipped bursts. The entire ship feels like a single heartbeat, pulsing with tension. A few miles away, 2 Chinese Type 54 amperes frigates, Chenzhou and Luzhou, watch the exchange, tracking Dewey's defense patterns. One lights its fire control radar, painting the American ship an invisible threat. A second passes before Dewey sensors catch it. "We're being locked," a technician says. The captain doesn't blink. "Deploy decoys. Keep shields active." Flares burst into the sky, trails falling like burning rain. The first SM-2 detonates, catching one incoming missile midair, bright flash, white plume, fragments raining into the sea. The second YJ-12 dives low, vanishing under radar before the close-in guns roar. Shells hammer the air, tearing through mist. A Philippine patrol vessel turns sharply to avoid the chaos. "We're clear barely," its captain radios. The Americans answer only with static. Their comms are jammed. On screen, the final YJ-12 streaks closer 20 miles, then 15. Every console glows red. "Switch to manual defense," the captain orders. The ship shudders as the phalanx CIWS spins up, barrels glowing orange. The ocean turns into thunder. Then a burst of fire on the horizon. The missile disintegrates, fragments skipping across the waves like sparks from a forge. The crew exhales, half believing what they see. The first wave is gone. But more signatures appear dozens this time, faster and lower. Electronic noise rises jamming from beyond the reef. Two J-16s slice the sky, dropping pods that flood the area with false radar echoes. Dewey counters with chaff and Nulka decoys drifting like silver ghosts. Helmets click, watertight doors slam. "Condition zebra set," the captain calls. The next salvo is already inbound. The radar room glows red. More tracks appear 10, maybe 12, moving low and fast. The Chinese formation has split, launching from multiple angles. The sea becomes geometry, attack vectors, intercept lines, countdown timers. Inside Dewey, tension crackles like static. "Second wave inbound," a sailor shouts. The captain leans over the console. "Fire again, 2 SM-2 and 1 ESSM. Tubes ignite." The missiles tear upward, leaving ribbons of flame. Seconds later, the ship's deck guns thunder, aiming for what slips through. Every shot shakes the hull. The enemy's new tactic is smarter. YJ-12 dive in pairs, one flying high to draw fire, the other hugging the surface to sneak through the clutter. The Aegis computer strains to track both. "Multiple targets merging," someone yells. The captain's answer is calm but cold. "Then separate them. Use manual offset." Outside, the ocean is chaos. Water columns rise hundreds of feet as near misses explode. Chaff clouds bloom, silver and ghostly. The crew can barely see the horizon through smoke and spray. Every man knows the next 10 seconds decide everything. Another blast too close. Shockwaves rattle the bridge. Sparks rain from overhead pipes. Damage control teams to forward section. The ship lists slightly to port but keeps speed. The captain's jaw tightens. "They're trying to blind us," he mutters. Up above, a Chinese J-16 sweeps past, its wings glinting in the sun before banking away. Seconds later, new radar pings show another launch, fresh YJ-12 inbound. The third wave. The Dewey has less ammunition now, and the crew knows it. Fatigue sets in, but nobody leaves their post. The ship turns 5 degrees starboard, tightening its defensive arc. Phalanx guns track like predators. A single YJ-12 breaks through the haze too close to intercept. Alarms scream. "Brace!" the captain yells. The missile slams into the water just yards from the hull, detonating in a plume of steam and flame. The ship shakes violently, but it's still afloat. For a moment, silence. Then applause erupts across the deck, raw relief, not celebration. The second wave is over, but the next one could finish the job. The crew stares out at the smoke-choked horizon where China's warships prowl, waiting to strike again. Two nations, one trigger pull away from disaster. If you were in command, would you fire back or hold the line, press 1 for the US to strike, or 9 for China to push forward? The ocean settles for less than a minute before a new sound cuts through the static, a low growl from the west. "That's not a missile," the sonar chief says. The captain frowns. New icons bloom on radar. Small, fast, erratic. Not missiles drones. Sea-skimming drones? They're smaller than anything Dewey has faced, weaving through decoy clouds below radar range. Each carries a warhead meant to cripple, not sink a message. "We can reach you anytime." China has switched tactics, probing every gap in America's shield. CIWS, target low signatures. The guns track wildly, shredding one drone in a burst of spray. Another hits a decoy, exploding harmlessly. But the swarm keeps coming, too many, too close. "Manual aim, use visual," the captain shouts. Tracers tear the haze. For every drone destroyed, 2 more appear. A hit rocks the port side, minor damage, but the meaning is clear. The Chinese fleet isn't just attacking, it's learning. The captain studies the tactical map, a blur of red and blue. "They're baiting us," he mutters. If he fires back, escalation becomes real. If he holds, they risk another strike. Below deck, sailors brace for another impact that never comes. The drones vanish as suddenly as they appeared, ghosts fading into static. The crew doesn't cheer. They know the fight has shifted. Over the reef line, an H-6 Kelvin circles, dropping pods that jam the airwaves. A Philippine escort reports unknown wakes near its stern, small hulls, maybe unmanned boats. The captain holds fire. Rules demand visual ID. Seconds stretch. Spray batters the bow. In the CIC, someone whispers a number ammo low. The captain steadies his breath and stares into the gray sea, waiting for the next move. The next wave arrives before the smoke clears. 12 new signatures appear, this time mixed. YJ-12 missiles, drones, and radar jammers all together. It's chaos by design. All stations, stand by for saturation attack, the captain shouts. The bridge vibrates as the ship turns broadside to bring every weapon online. Missiles streak upward in pairs. The Aegis display flickers too many tracks for the system to sort. Switch to sector fire, the weapons officer yells. The Dewey divides the sky into zones. Each team fights blind, trusting only timing and instinct. The first YJ-12 explodes under interception. The second slams into debris, detonating midair. Then impact. One drone slams into the forward deck, shredding antennas and radar panels. Fire bursts across the bow. Damage control. Forward section. Smoke fills the CIC. The captain stays at the console, coughing but steady. We hold the line, no retreat. Outside, the horizon burns. Chaff drifts like snow, tracer lines cut the sky, and every explosion feels closer than the last. The phalanx CIWS spins, spitting metal at supersonic speed. One missile breaks through too fast, too low. The gun's barrels overheat, locking mid-spin. The crew freezes. Manual override. A young sailor jumps from his station, grabbing the control stick. The cannon jerks alive, spitting a final burst. The missile vanishes in a sphere of orange fire. The sailor slumps back, shaking. Cheers rise across the deck, half triumph, half disbelief. But celebration fades fast. Sensors show another launch from the west, bigger, faster. The Chinese frigates are pushing in, closing the distance. The captain looks to the tactical screen. The next missile is hypersonic. No time, no margin. Brace for impact. The sea explodes as the missile hits short, blasting a wall of water that slams across the deck. Dewey heaves but doesn't break. The ship still fights. Its crew stands soaked, coughing, but alive. Silence returns, broken only by dripping metal and static on the radio. The radar shows no new threats. For now, it's over. But everyone knows both sides are seconds from turning this skirmish into a war. Two flags face each other across the same sea, neither willing to step back. If you think Dewey should strike first to end it, press 1. If restraint is the better weapon, press 9. The South China Sea falls quiet again, but the silence feels uneasy, like the pause between lightning and thunder. The USS Dewey drifts with reduced power, smoke still curling from her deck. Fire crews move through twisted metal, spraying foam over what remains of the forward radar. Over the radio, Manila confirms its escorts are safe. Beijing ships pull back beyond the reef, still watching. Officially, no shots were exchanged after the missiles fell short. Unofficially, everyone knows that line was crossed hours ago. In Washington, the incident hits headlines before nightfall. The Pentagon calls it an act of intimidation. China calls it a routine exercise. Both sides claim restraint, yet both quietly prepare for the next round. For Dewey's crew, survival feels more like a warning than a win. Systems crippled, ammo low, nerves frayed. They know how close they came. In the mess hall, sailors whisper about the near miss, about luck measured in meters and seconds. Above them, a USP-8 patrol jet circles, recording everything. Below, waves carry fragments of metal and fuel. The captain watches the horizon, knowing the next engagement won't be a test, it'll be real. Across the region, from Scarborough to Hainan, every command studies the footage, simulates new scenarios, and tightens plans. The margin between peace and conflict has never been thinner. As Dewey limps toward port under a red sunset, the crew stands silent on deck, watching the sea glow like cooling steel. They've held the line for now. Below decks, medics make quiet rounds and checks. Two nations claim victory, but neither truly wins. When the next confrontation begins, which path would you take? Press 1 for peace or 9 for retaliation?